Frozen Tundra Football League.
To all of my friends and fellow FTFLers to the longest running weekly episodic fantasy football update show. That's right, it is the FTFL weekly update. I am the host of the show, the owner of the 7-3 Hulkamaniacs, the true and only king of the FTFL, and listen closely, because I know you hear it. I'm that song that's right there deep down in your heart. It is I, Brett Sieber. Week 10 is in the books. 3 weeks of the regular season to go. Week 10, my goodness gracious, low scores and big losses. One team lost by 59.5 points, and that wasn't even the biggest margin of defeat this week. No, it wasn't. There was a record broken, not in a good way. We'll get to that game, of course. First, it was another week, another Benjamin for one of the front runners. One last trade before the trade deadline. Questions about whether it snuck in time. I do believe it did. Ryan Deesum and John Linkowitz, who continues to flush the format. He is on the ship as it is sinking fast, I think on purpose, and I'll point it out why later. Ryan Deesum gets Tyreek Hill, Rob Gronkowski, and a 13th round pick. John gets Jerick McKinnon, Raheem Mostert, let's be honest, 2 wet paper sacks, and Ryan Deesum's first overall draft pick. I don't believe Ryan has traded away that pick, if ever, and if ever, it's only been one other time. He really doesn't like to give up picks and really doesn't like to give up first-round picks. Now, when it comes to first-round picks, you're not often thinking kickers. However, we know when it comes to keepers, sometimes you are, but kickers this season may be more important than ever. 2 kickers this week led their team in scoring, and 3 kickers are on teams where they are the second highest scoring player on the team behind the team's quarterback and or quarterback. So please don't overlook the kickers. Lastly, I learned a new word this week. Maybe you picked up on this too. The word is 2 and 8. And when I first read it, I thought, what in the blue hell does 2 and 8 mean? But then wait, if I were to use it in a sentence, is Andy and Swart both have the same record. It's 2 and 8. That's right. I love when we can learn new things together. And let us get to the game of the creator of the word and owner of the sole first place team in the South, the Architect, coming in at 6-3, winner of 4 in a row. But how is he doing it? How is he doing it? He definitely has the lowest total points in the league. Yet there he is, 6-3, almost as if he has something else on his side. Now, on the other side of the ledger, he was taken off against Team Linkowitz, coming in at 5-4, who is trying his damnedest to miss the playoffs, although he still might find a way in. That would be awesome, because I'm not entirely sure John even cares anymore, so it might be a free pass. However, he still has firepower on this team, but firepower is not what we saw this week. Not only was this the lowest combined point total in a game in the common era, which I will define as since we went to the flex and or PPR options with the current lineup as it is the lowest point total combined for a game and the lowest point total in the history of the FTFL in a winning effort. 54 points for Matt, good Lord. 41 points for John. If you're Matt, leading the way, newly acquired Antonio Gibson, who is fitting in nicely with his new team. 18 points. Devontae, the best receiver in football, way better than Julio or Deontay Adams, with 14 points. No one else was above of 6. And would you expect that? Because he only scored 54 points. Travis Fulgham, half point. Denver's defense, 0 points. This is not the first, not the second, but the third time Matt has had a defense register 0 points for the week. That's damn near unheard of. If you're John, Marvin Jones Jr. scored 16, and there's really no one else to talk about except for on his bench. Big Ben, 30. Ronald Jones II in his 98-yard touchdown run, 22.5. Brandon Ayuk, 13.5. Damian Harris, 8. All of this was on the bench. All of it. As if John was trying. I thought tanking a season was only for the last week of the season. I guess it isn't. However, at 5-5, John is still 2 games out of first and is the only player to actually beat me in the North this year. So, John, despite your best efforts, you still have a shot at the North Division crown. Best of luck to you, my friend. Next game on the ledger, the Ryan Deesum fantasy football team, who is falling fast, taking on the Radioactive Monkeys, who has seemingly risen from the ashes. Although, let's be clear, the South has been neck and neck all season long. This game was not of that nature. 108.5 for Adam Saltmarsh. 59 for the Ryan Deesum fantasy football team. Picked a piss-poor week to have a Kansas City bye. Radioactive Monkeys, a 21-17-1, now 22-17-1 record all-time against Ryan Deesum. So it is not a team that he fears, unlike myself, who, of course, can't seem to beat Ryan. Although this year, the 3 out of the last 4 weeks I would have, except for the 1 week where I actually played him, but really, I'm not bitter. If you're Saltmarsh, Stupid Face Jr., Kyler Murray, 30 points. Wayne Gallman, who all of a sudden is the lead running back in New York again, 16.5. Graham Gano, 11. James Robinson in that hot tub full of hotties, 7 points. No one was below 7 for Saltmarsh. If you're Deesum, he was one of the 2 teams this week who had a kicker lead the way, Daniel Carlson, who the Vikings had 0 interest in keeping after not even just a full season. 15 points. Kareem Hunt, 9.5. Gronk, 9. Aaron Jones, not Raren, but Raren to go. Aaron Jones, 8.5. Quarterback this week. Woo! What a performance. Baker Mayfield, 2 points. Kansas City was on a bye. Ryan Deesum gets smoked. The Jermichael Hasty over Jerick McKinnon play last week looms large, as Deesum now is in a tie for the last place in the South Division and now in trouble when it comes to get to the playoffs. A team that also, 2 more teams who find themselves somewhat in trouble. Again, 2 more out of the South. That South has just been beating the crap out of each other all season. The 5-4 Pack Attack taking on the 4-5 king of the FTFL. Now remember, Sid won, he lost, he won, he lost. Sorry, maybe it was he lost, he won. He lost, he won, he lost, he won. And every time he lost and then won, of course, he was back, baby. This week, it was more of a, I'm back, baby. And for now, he is 74 points for him, 68.5 points for Eric. They are now both sitting at the 500 mark, of course, tied with Deesum for the bottom. No one in the South, 10 weeks into this thing, is below 500. But remember, that's because of 2-8. Don't forget. If you are Sid, not the greatest week, but good enough. And again, another team. He's the second one this week, led by a kicker, Ryan Suckup, 17. Deontay Johnson, 15, who way outplayed Julio Jones, who was on a bye, but it really doesn't matter. McKissick, J.D. McKissick, and Terry McLaurin, both Redskins, both 11.5 points. Dalvin Cook with a subpar performance, got his ass whipped on Monday Night Football. Sure, late in the game started to come alive, but that was because Akeem Hicks was out. And Ryan Tannehill, both 8 points. A.J. Brown, half point. Luckily, it didn't matter because Eric's team was even worse. Juju, 14.5. The Saints defense, 13. Blankenship, Rodrigo with 11. Russell, Stupid Face Wilson went to the cupboard, and damn, it was near bare. He has become a turnover machine, 8 points. He was averaging 32 points a week. Whew. When you get just 25% of that point total, you lose and you fall to 5-5. Now, Clyde was on a bye, which means he gained no ground on Myles Gaskin, while Aaron Jones and James Robinson both added to their totals. I feel now it is time to go ahead and update this. Clyde still sitting at 80. Didn't pick up any ground on 63. Now, again, Miles still holds the advantage in average points a week. James Robinson slides up to 112.5. Aaron Jones, a smooth century mark. And the chart stands as is. Clyde Edwards-Helaire. When the Kansas City Chiefs draft a running back again next year, I'm going to pee myself. Hopefully I've got pants on I don't care about. Eric does have one of the teams where his third highest scorer on the team is Rodrigo Blankenship. He is behind both of Eric's quarterbacks, and Eric is now kind of behind the eight ball. These teams, none of them really control their own destiny at this point, because if they all kind of keep winning, it's going to be a mess at the end. But for now, we take a break. Now, if you've been watching, which I know you have, and you've been paying attention, my team is on straight fire. 7-3, barnstorm in the league, and again, another 100 points this week, and then we'll get to my game in a moment. With all of this success, I'm feeling like we're on the cusp of something greater. And so, I've sent my good friend Bart, who came back last week, to little or no fanfare. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing his face as much as I did, but as kind of as a thank you and a new job. Now, he is the financial guy, and this somewhat ties into it. I have sent Bart to Hollywood to find us an agent to help take this show to the next level. Let's go live now out to Bart in Hollywood. Hey, it's your good friend Bart. Sorry I'm not very camera friendly today. Yeah, I was out scraping ice off the windshield of the vehicle. I got some of that in my eye. Doctor says I'm going to be just fine. Now, I am out here at the Hollywood Roadhouse looking for an agent to represent the show. Brett sent me out here to find someone to help us get the show to the next level. Where in Hollywood are you? That doesn't look like California. What do you mean, California? Hollywood is in California. Well, yeah, I'm in Hollywood. You said go to Hollywood. Hollywood, California? Where are you right now? I'm not in California. I'm in Hollywood, Minnesota. That's where I am, Hollywood, Minnesota. I mean, the place behind me really looks like it's got some real good folk and whatnot, so I'm going to go ahead and mask up and head on in. Good luck with the show tonight, Brett, and we'll catch you all next time. He had one job. One job. How do you mix up the Hollywoods? How does that even happen? How do you go from Hollywood, California to Hollywood? You know what? It doesn't matter. On to the next game with Hollywood Hogan himself. That's right. The Hulkamaniacs at 6-3 taking on, well, now 2-8. Andy and his mixing cocktails, the Brother Bowl Part 2. This now becomes the third, oh my gosh, the 2003 championship, my baby. Whew! It looks like it's in okay condition. He becomes the third team that I have swept in the North Division. That's right, 3 of the 4 teams I didn't even want to take the time of day with. Just get out the way. Get out the way. I said it. Another 100 points this week, actually 101 to Andy's 58. For me, no Seattle, no problem. Now, I did have them on bye earlier this year, and I lost this week. Lockett, Metcalf, and of course Carson didn't play. The 3 of them combined for 7.5 points, the lowest point total by the trio all season. And it didn't matter, thanks to the boogeyman himself, Aaron Rodgers, with 28 points. And Andy, I can't thank you enough for acquiescing to my request to gain Alvin Kamara, because what a season that boy is having. 27.5 points for him. Jason Sanders kicking his way to 15. Mike Evans hit a touchdown, a few receptions, 13 points for him. If you're Andy, Lamar Jackson, 18. Jacoby Myers, 10.5. Hunter Henry, 10. Michael Thomas, 1 point. I believe on the season he has 7. 7 points. Now, he missed a lot of time for an injury. He punched a teammate in the face. But, Andy, the mismanagement of this team is abhorrent. You were a league champion. You had the best draft grade. You've had some injuries, so is John, and John's 5-5, and selling off his team rapidly. Yet you are 2-8. You are 2-8. Cole Beasley, 17.5 on the bench. Andy, one of those teams, his kicker is his second highest scorer on the team. Beasley points wouldn't have mattered. Tucker, of course, his points this week didn't matter either. Andy falls to 2-8 while I move on to 7-3. Now the other team who currently finds himself 2-8, the DSOM Award-winning visitors from Planet B with questionable motives coming in at 2-7, taking on Mana, 3-time Lucky Pants, looking for a 4th champ. Mana at 5-4, and oh my goodness, Jeff Marks' team is coming alive at just the right time. 130 points to 45.5. That's right. I did say Ryan Deesum lost by 59.5 points, and that was a lot of points. But Adam Swartz said, hey, hold my beer. And he went ahead and lost by 84.5 points, which is a laughable number. But let us not forget, last year, Eric lost a game by 90 points. 90 points. For Jeff Markster, Josh Allen, 24.5. DeAndre Hopkins, and that unbelievable catch at the end of the game, 21.5. Josh Jacobs, 22. Stephon Diggs, who thought he had the winning touchdown in that game, 17. Nick Chubb, welcome back, 14 points up and down the board. If you're Adam in Plan B, T. Higgins, 15.5. The Minnesota defense, 10. Drew Brees, who got folded up and crunched like the wings of an accordion. Don't know what you call those. Yeah. He's going to miss some time, and he only got 6 points. Jimmy Graham, 0, has been averaging 6.8. Again, really wouldn't have mattered. Swart also has a kicker on his team that is a high scorer, but he now finds himself 2-8. All right, stud the Deesman games next week, where we finally get the first of 2 North versus South weeks. But first stud of the week, that's right, Stupid Face Jr. Kyler Murray and his 30 points and that unbelievably ridiculous Aaron Rodgers Jace throw at the end of that game. My goodness, dud of the week. It's the Stupid Face Senior, Russell Wilson. What the hell? 8 points? 8 points. You've been averaging 32. I know that's kind of a tough number to average, but 8 is preposterous, and you cost your team the victory. Hence, you are the dud. This week's reason why Adam Swartz should win the Deesum Award, he lost by 84.5 points. John, scoring 41 points and tanking very visibly, also should be in consideration, but I still think the front runner at this point in time is Andy. All right, Week 11 games. My goodness gracious. Fantasy Bowl preview right out the chute. Maybe? Hulkamaniacs, 7-3. First place in the North. Taking on first place in the South. The Architect also at 7-3. What a matchup to find ourselves with in the final couple weeks of the season. Also, battles in the South, up and down. Well, actually, take that back. North-South battles, but big games. Manah, 3-time Lucky Pants champ. Manah, 6-4, taking on the desperately needing a win Ryan Deesum fantasy football team at 5-5. The king of the FTFL at 5-5, taking on Team Linkowitz, also at 5-5. The Monkeys at 6-4, taking on Plan B, who is 2-8, and the Pack Attack at 6-4. Those teams tied for second in the South, taking on Mixing Cocktails, who is also 2-8. All right, before we wrap this up, just real quick, things are happening at a pretty crazy rate. Football, for me, is absolutely a solace week in and week out, and the fact that we continue to get to watch it is amazing. But man, especially here in Minnesota and in some of your communities, things are just, I feel the circle closing in. Be smart. Be safe. So that people like Ryan Deesum, those frontline heroes, have a shot to get out in front of this and stay on top of this. If not for you and your family, for the fine folks like Ryan Deesum. Ryan, I don't care what your mom says. You're a hell of a guy in my book, buddy. This one's to you, my friend. And until next week, everybody, peace! Hey, man, what's up? Yeah, I know, right? Big game this week. All right, so, I made sure that the copy I made is now secure. Thanks for meeting up with me so we get that taken care of. All right, so the agreement still stands? Yep, I have tucked mine away. If you are willing to do the same, we'll play this week with no assistance. Agreed? All right, man. Best of luck to you. We'll catch you. Well, I'm sure I'll talk to you on Sunday. All right, man. Peace out.